Get ready to dive into the juiciest drama the NBA has seen. The top 10 players banned by the NBA. We're talking jaw-dropping moments on and off the court that got these ballers kicked out of the game. From wild clashes to off-the-wall slip-ups, these players wrote history with a side of chaos. Hang tight as we break down their epic bans, spilling all the details on the roller coaster rides that changed their careers. Dunks and Don'ts, Marty Collins. On December 16, 2006, the New York Knicks and Denver Nuggets were playing a game at Madison Square Garden. A fight broke out, and the court turned into a free-for-all, initiated by a foul by Knicks guard Marty Collins on Nuggets guard J.R. Smith in the closing seconds of the game. Several players joined in the confrontation. Punches and kicks were thrown left and right. Fans didn't miss the opportunity to grill the players. Haven't seen Melo run that fast since college. He's the people's chump after that punch. The fight briefly spilled into the stands and also stretched to the other end of the court. It was all complete mayhem. All 10 players on the floor at the time were ejected after they were done throwing hands. When suspensions were announced, 7 players were suspended without pay for a combined total of 47 games, including Marty Collins. A good chunk of careers went down the drain. Although they weren't penalized, Nuggets coach George Karl and Knicks coach Isaiah Thomas were both scrutinized for their part in the brawl. The coaches really stepped up big time for their players, while Nuggets forward Carmelo Anthony was criticized for harming his image as a star. Fans argued that the judgment was harsh, but the higher-ups said they wanted to send a message: no fighting.
No fighting!
Ron Artest. Ron Artest, or should I say Meta World Peace. Yeah, the guy who made quite a name for himself with the infamous Malice at the Palace brawl. He was suspended for the rest of the 2004-2005 NBA season, and the result? The most extended timeout in NBA history, 73 games to be exact. And apart from that, he also ended up missing 13 playoff matches, which really put a damper on the Indiana Pacers' chances that year. It affected a total of 9 players and resulted in over 140 games lost due to suspensions. But that's not all. He also got a 4-game suspension for some not-so-friendly encounters with both a coach and a crowd. Even after being traded to the Sacramento Kings in 2006, Artest didn't exactly mellow out. In fact, during a crucial playoff game, he unleashed an elbow to Manu Ginobili's jaw, earning himself yet another suspension. It was a clear reminder of his unpredictable behavior on the court. Let's just say he wasn't exactly winning any popularity contests with moves like that. Gilbert Arenas. Next up, we got Gilbert Arenas, a standout player for the Wizards, who thought locker rooms were like Wild West saloons. The whole saga started in 2010, with a heated argument between Arenas and his teammate Jarvis Crittenden during a team flight. Apparently, the argument was about a gambling debt that Arenas owed Crittenden. And let's just say things got way out of hand. This was a major no-no according to the NBA rules, which strictly forbid weapons in league and team facilities. As a result, he was hit with a 50-game suspension, but that's not all. He also faced legal charges for carrying a pistol without a license in the District of Columbia. Just a few days later, on December 21st, Arenas decided to take things to a whole new level. He laid out 4 guns before Crittenden's locker with a pretty ominous note that said, "Choose one." Now, I don't know about you, but that's definitely not the best way to resolve a disagreement. Fouls and fuel. Michael Ray Richardson. Michael Ray Richardson, the all-star who turned his love for substances into a full-court press. But his life took an unexpected detour on that fateful day, February 25, 1986. He was thrust into the spotlight, becoming a central figure in the NBA's battle against drugs. Let's just say he didn't end up on the winning team in this game. Having tested positive for yayo aka booger sugar, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Richardson set a record that nobody wanted to break. It was like a triple whammy of bad news for him. As a result, he was banished from the league under the NBA's anti-drug program, which had been put in place to tackle substance abuse among players. And despite moments of redemption and personal victories, his legacy is a stark reminder of the devastating impact that substance abuse can have on even the brightest careers. So remember kids, drugs don't make champions. They make for a one-way ticket out of the game. O.J. Mayo. O.J. Mayo, not the juice, but a player who couldn't resist some not-so-sweet temptation. He had seen everything from his days with the Memphis Grizzlies to his time with the Dallas Mavericks. But his 8th year in the league took an unexpected turn when he got banned for violating the NBA-NBPA anti-drug program. Brian Windhorst shed some light on the situation, revealing that it was all because of a positive test for a drug of abuse. I guess Mayo took a wrong turn somewhere along the way, according to Ken Berger from CBS Sports. It's a different category from those performance-enhancing substances we often hear about. Despite not fully living up to the potential typically associated with a high lottery pick, he still could provide an offensive boost off the bench for a team during the 2016-17 season. But with his ban from the league, that opinion went up in smoke. It's like the basketball gods had a different plan for him. Legal layups. Allen Iverson. After a wild and crazy summer in '97 that had everyone in the basketball world on edge, Allen Iverson, the crossover king, also crossed paths with the law. You see, the head honcho of the NBA commissioner, David Stern, didn't take kindly to some of Iverson's actions and decided to lay down the law. He slapped our man with a one-game suspension for behavior that he thought was dragging the league's good name through the mud. So, how did Iverson end up in this mess? Well, it all started with a little incident where he got caught with a loaded gun and some Mary Jane, puff puff pass, in a car he was riding in. Not exactly the best look, right? He ended up taking the smart route and entered a no-contest plea to the weapon charge. The whole legal ordeal marked a turning point in his career, that's for sure. But the suspension wasn't just a slap on the wrist for Iverson. It hit his wallet too. He lost out on a cool $39,000 for missing Philly's opening game. Now that's a price to pay for your actions. Roy Tarpley. Roy Tarpley, the big man with an even bigger struggle against the bottle. This towering guy standing at a whopping 7 feet tall from Michigan had all the makings of a star player. But Roy had some trouble with substance abuse and it eventually caught up with him. It all started unraveling in 1991 when he decided to skip a drug test, which was a big no-no in his aftercare program. That was strike 3 for him, and the league didn't have it. And he got slapped with a lifetime ban. Here's the kicker. Gary Bettman, the NBA's vice president and counsel, wasn't buying it. He made a big deal about Roy refusing to take those drug tests. According to him, it was a severe offense, and honestly, who can blame him? Roy had potential, no doubt about it. He even won the NBA's 6th Man Award in his rookie season. He was scoring points and grabbing rebounds like a boss, but all those struggles kept coming back to haunt him. Missed games, substance problems, and even a pesky knee injury. This poor guy just couldn't catch a break. Trash talk and takedowns. Latrell Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell is the guy who gave choking a whole new meaning in the NBA. It all went down on December 1st, 1997, during a Warriors practice when Latrell Sprewell, the all-star guard, decided to pull off some wild and unexpected moves. And I'm not talking about his signature crossover or flashy dunks. Sprewell straight up went for the throat. He grabbed Coach PJ Carlesimo by the neck, and things quickly escalated into a full-blown brawl. It was like watching a wrestling match, but without the costumes and the scripted drama, where teammates had to jump in and hold Sprewell back before things got even uglier. But wait, there's more. Just when you thought the fight was over, Sprewell made a sneak attack and punched poor Carlesimo right in the face. The aftermath of this madness was unprecedented. Sprewell got hit with a season-long suspension, which later got reduced to 68 games. But the consequences didn't stop there. His Warriors contract went out the window. And if that wasn't enough, his shoe deal with Converse also took a nosedive. Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson, the Malice at the Palace tag team partner of Ron Artest. He charged right in, ready for war. It was like a scene straight out of an action flick. The aftermath? He got suspended for 30 games. He candidly talked with Artest in the locker room, and when Artest asked about the potential consequences, Jackson hit him with a reality check. He said, "Dude, we might not even have a job after this mess." But you know what? Jackson somehow managed to defy the odds. He held on to his spot in the league and played for another 9 seasons. That's resilience at its finest. And in the 2008-09 season, he even had a career-high average of 20.7 points per game with the Warriors. However, I wish I could say that the brawl was the only dark cloud in Jackson's career. Betting breakdowns. Tim Donaghey. Tim Donaghey, a ref who thought the game wasn't exciting enough, so he decided to make some bets. The FBI jumped in and uncovered some serious connections between refs, coaches, players, and owners. It was like untangling a massive web of secrets, and guess what? Donaghey was accused of using his position as a referee to manipulate games for his gain in 2007. But here's the interesting twist. Donaghey admitted his involvement and spilled the beans on his illicit betting activities. He claimed he wasn't directly altering game outcomes, but instead using inside information to make his bets. Nice try, buddy. Nobody bought that excuse, especially not his co-conspirators or the researchers looking into the case. They knew something smelled fishy, and the evidence backed it up. Offshore betting accounts, electronic records, and line data confirmed that Donaghey was heavily involved in all of this. The focus? Games he officiated. Yep, he was betting on his own whistle-blowing skills. Can you believe that? Well, justice was served in the end. Donaghey pleaded guilty to federal charges and was slapped with a 15-month prison sentence and 3 years of supervised release. Well, folks, we've taken a spin through the wild stories of those who dribbled their way out of the NBA. Remember, when it comes to breaking the rules, even the slickest crossovers won't save you from the ban hammer. Stay on the court, play it cool, and always remember, it's all fun and games until the ref blows that whistle. Stay classy, ballers.